am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
All right, welcome everybody for another Valoris Tantibus Afterdark, Session 17, Best Laid Plans. Last we left our party, they had a little spider get captured in their parlor. Not really a spider. Well, I guess in this case it figuratively was. One of the drow overlords, one of the lustrum oculari. It's the parlor that's not theirs. Using the mansion of their friend's estate, they brought this figure for interrogation. It went actually pretty smoothly, and we're going to pick back up right at the point it seems like an accord is going to be made between the party, the Perfide, and perhaps betrayal against the rest of the Lustrum Oculari. All right, you guys now have the board here. She, of course, appears to be at your guys' mercy. You guys are in the library, which of course is warded against seemingly all sorts of scrying upon you. Yes, I will help you, but I require those items. How would you like to go about this?
Well, what I ask is to help expedite the process of getting you those items that you're looking for. It would save us quite a lot, actually, and allow us to deliver the goods to you a lot sooner.
As I said, I don't know exactly what you did with the remains of Stitsko. I need his ring. As far as the big man, I've heard rumor of his whereabouts. Let's deal with those two loose ends, and then I will personally assist you with the others.
It's the big man she's talking about.
The professor, who's also a very tiny man.
Stitsko, we believe we can handle. Our question will be, the professor is dealing with a situation that is causing him rather a lot of distress, and we're not sure exactly where to find the curative that he is seeking. Would you know anything about that?
I know the boss has gone to great lengths to keep that one in line. I do know that without that serum, he won't be able to transform. I can assist, but we're gonna have to enlist the aid of Bertram.
If it at all possible, we can just figure out where they're getting this serum from. That would be enough to start.
That's difficult. I only know one man in the city that might be able to acquire that. The last I heard, he's dead.
Well, a lead is as good a place as any to start. Perhaps we could look into this dead man's estate, see what we can find.
Estate? He practically lived at the shop. I'm sure you've met Kiev.
We have done business with him once or twice.
It's sad to see him leave us so soon.
Yes, well, that seemed to be the objective of our friends in the clerisy.
I can't say I like much of those Onrori. They tread a dangerous path, very close to our profession.
But you believe that Kiev would have the means of finding that serum?
Kiev is blessed with a certain gift, one not very common for this realm. Sorry, I slipped. I should have said was instead of is. I will retract that. Kiev was. Which, either she's playing a game or she doesn't know Kiev is alive.
Thinking about that, can I actually try and make an insight check, see which of the two is her
Yeah.
gambit?
Let's make it fun. Let's roll it in the bucket.
Alrighty.
You look at her, and again, you know that she's skilled in espionage and deceit. It's part and parcel of her. There's nothing about her words, her inflection, her body mannerisms that would lead you to believe that she's trying to like force a gambit to lead a farce. You would think that yes, she does believe this, or at least hasn't verified it herself.
It could be very useful.
Well, at the very least, we might be able to find some clue if we check out the shop. I know you said you had some unfinished business in there, Vic.
There's lots of... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, we both had some rather curt business dealings there in our last visit, didn't we?
I see you met Micha.
Not the most pleasant replacement.
But a shrewd businessman all the same.
It is a good place to start, and unless something has gone horribly wrong, we think that Stitsko's ring won't be terribly difficult to find.
She brings you right back full circle. Yes, Stitsko. Why not first?
Does anyone have any reasons why we shouldn't go ahead and retrace our steps?
None stand out to me.
And what of me? Do you want me to remain here?
Well, if our ultimate objective here is for you to be able to provide sort of an ambush when they least expect it, then I believe it would be best to see you on your way, have you play the part of our aggressor until the time comes.
Agreed. I'll be sending a courier. Expect a small gift. It will help. Allow me some time to put this package together. Don't worry. I'll keep to my end of the bargain.
And when we find your souvenirs, what would be the best way to get them to you?
Wait for my package. All will come clear.
Understood.
Well then, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's best then if you get to talking to the right people that you've escaped our grasp and taught us a very firm lesson about not messing with the Order of the Eye.
Indeed. Bertram's a fool. I have no issues lying to that one. He's not the one I'm worried about. As she kind of looks about the room, let me make a subtle roll here. Give me 2 seconds. It's a very good roll. Okay. Who here has a passive insight of 17 or higher? I think maybe only 1 or 2 of you.
Mine would be a 17.
Definitely not me.
I think I would. It would be 8 plus proficiency plus the score.
A 10 plus
10
proficiency
plus
if,
modifier.
if you have it plus your modifier.
Then definitely, yeah, for me.
Okay. The other one might be Valderin.
Wait, no, I think I do. 'Cause, I have a +7 insight.
I have
Okay.
a +8.
Okay. So you guys are great there. Most of you, those who have the higher, when she says the other one I'm worried about, she looks across the room and almost imperceptibly lingers just a little too long over Kaladin. But just long enough to make it that's awkward, that's telling, poker face kind of. Like if you were in the middle of a poker game, that was a tell. Very subtle tell.
Petrovich is gonna kind of just stare at him for a minute.
At Kaladin or at
Yeah.
the female?
At Kaladin.
Okay. Aranea will kind of look around the room, kind of take notice of you looking at Kaladin. Well then, keep a watchful vigil for my package. I will go take care of things. We will meet again soon. I promise. And if unimpeded, she will exit out.
Probably might be I'm not going to say this out loud, but probably might be a good idea to escort her out so she doesn't pop into any other rooms and potentially find Kiev. So Vic is going to escort her.
Okay. Understood. She will, of course, exit the premises. And you guys are back in the library, uninterrupted, save for maybe Richado that comes in and kind of reminds you that they have food and that sort of thing if you need it.
Well, it appears that we have our end, friends.
Yes, I do feel a bit of concern that we should suss a bit more information out about who we've just allied ourselves with, but at the end of the day, I don't think it could be any worse than Jalsaxio.
If anybody knows it, it might be the person you're taking care of.
At the very least, if today's earlier activities proved anything, it's that unraveling this web isn't going to be easy if we don't have a bit of help.
Yes, there was something else that concerned me a bit. She did seem to, when she mentioned the other one, I assume she meant Kasparov. She did, her glance lingered at you, Kaladin. Does that name mean anything to you?
Will I know anything else more
The
about?
DM is going to tell you no.
Okay. No. No. I mean, a lot of people.
What, you mean you just don't associate with murderers and thieves? You're like, no, of course I don't know. What are you guys talking about? No, I imagine you're probably just as confused as the others.
You were rather friendly with Kiev before joining us, weren't you, Kaladin?
I mean, it's not hiding at this point that you know I'm part of the Order.
Well, maybe you don't know them, but perhaps they know you from your time with them.
Very possible.
Perhaps you made something of an impression.
How does one get in anyway? Did you have a sponsor or anything like that? Somebody that might be more familiar than just another coworker?
Yes, Kaladin, what is your backstory?
I was recruited by someone. It's not like you can just show up and say, I want to join.
Perhaps the one who recruited you then.
Possibly, but we haven't spoken in a while.
It could be entirely wrong thinking, but would draw a line from A to B, so to speak.
Could be something to look into. On top of everything else we have to do.
Either way, it seems that by, I guess, offending the ego of the Decount, we've kind of set ourselves against the entirety of the Order, so
As you're
might be seeing that.
As you're speaking, you hear a large kind of like clang sound. Over in one of the corners near one of the doorways, several books seem to have fallen off a shelf.
Petrovich is gonna raise an eyebrow and walk towards the books.
Before you even get turned around, you can see the sight of a familiar friend. You can see him all kind of bandaged up. He looks haggard. You can see him looking down at the books, just trying to, I don't know, mentally calculate bending over and picking them up versus ripping out any sort of stitches and the physicality of it. But you stare face to face with Kiev, and he looks at you, Petrovich. A long time no see.
Sorry, just a sec.
And you, the others will hear. Please, help me to the couch. I couldn't help but to overhear.
Petrovich will walk up to him and give him his shoulder.
Perfect. As you kind of scooch him over to the couch, the others, you guys will all kind of see the sight. He's walking, though he's clearly not at 100%. He should be in bed. He should be resting. What was he doing here? He had to have been dropping the eaves, because he clearly magic was... It was just off the table as he kind of flumps down. Oh, it's so good to get out of that room. I think it was Muranaka's. It's all one color.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
From where Araneo was sitting and where Kaladin was standing, would Kiev's position have been behind Kaladin?
He would not have been behind.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Not that I can't appreciate a need for a change of scenery, but should you really have been moving around sorely, Kiev?
I couldn't help it. I could smell the magic.
What does magic smell like?
When you're as gifted as Perfide, it smells exquisite.
Well, I think you have bigger worries to deal with than lusting after some elf.
I'm not worried about that one. You are making a deal, yes? Going to make it all go topsy-turvy.
That is the intention, I suppose.
Master Dwarf, you have a good heart. You really do. One day I hope to have the strength of character as you do in your faith. Why don't you all come closer? It is difficult to speak at this volume. I'm sure you will want to know more information.
Information is always good.
Oh, what will it cost us?
You all saved the city, saved my life. This time it's free. And he kind of smiles and gives a little bit of a chuckle. He's not used to giving out free things.
Fair enough, but let's not exhaust Kiev either, friends. He really should be back in the one-color room before too long.
Damn it, Muranaka. He redecorated, obviously. It's very feng shui in there.
Question.
Answer.
Can I use Cure Wounds to alleviate some of the pain? Make it easier for him to speak?
You can on a role-playing standpoint, and he will actually like it. Will invigorate him a little bit more, but it won't heal his wounds any faster, so to speak. But it will help with his fatigue. Mm-hmm.
All right. Baldurin will say,
Well, selflessness deserves a reward of its own, so here,
he'll put his hand on him and he'll cast
just go ahead and
wound at a third level.
Third level, perfect. That was going to be my question. You don't need to roll the hit points or anything like that. So I was just curious what was spell level. Okay. So you've met what, 3, 4 maybe of the Lustrum Oculari? I must ask, what do you think? Not many meet that many and live to tell the tale.
Well, of the few that we've met, at least some of them don't seem terribly evil.
And what makes you think that?
Well, there's a difference between the unpredictable that Shalsaxia would seem to represent and those that can be expected to hold a bargain. Which, at least that's the impression I get from Aranea.
She has a very strong code. She will not back out on her word. I can promise you that. But she will seek to fill that void, that vacuum.
Well, I'm an idealist, but I'm not naive. Somebody will surely fill that vacuum. I'd rather it be someone that we can at least hold some degree of trust with.
Yes, frankly, I'm just appalled at how many people in power in the organization appear to be crazy or halfway there.
Perhaps. Bertram, he's actually a pretty good businessman. A bit of a temper. He makes a very good number 2. Shalsaxio. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't think that's Shalsaxio.
Really now?
If I had to guess, he's about as paranoid as it comes. Locked away. He may not even be on this plane.
You know, curious thought, just tossing this out there, curious to see what your answer would be.
And
What if we arranged things for you to fill that vacuum? Would you be interested?
I cannot. For I wish the others were here. I could tell them as well. I have pledged myself to another. I will be leaving the city.
Pledged yourself to whom, and why does that require your absence?
I don't know if you will understand, but Lady Zendra, she can't do this on her own. If I can lend her my power, I will do so. She wishes to seek out a Chardalun and speak with him.
What point does she think that will serve?
She believes that a bargain can be struck, that we can keep a Chardalun out of the city. As it stands, there's no telling if he will come back. The city will not stand for a second attack.
That it will not. However, I would be more concerned that there might be more of those to come through whatever the hell that was that came out.
This room. A lot of care was placed in this room. I saw to its construction myself. I didn't know if it would ever come to this, but I wish to start to make amends for all the wrongs that I've done in the city, and I think by coming clean, I can at least make the first steps in doing so. How much do you know about this world? Let's start there.
Well, after recent revelations, I'm afraid quite little. However, we did find out that a certain man of golden stature sealed away dragons in order to seal something that he was quite afraid of.
I have heard this rumor, though, not in this much detail. Interesting.
And it would seem that the three great cities of Valoris all have blocks that help keep these dragons away. And well, the arch was one, and you see what happened to it.
Master Dwarf, I brought up your faith earlier. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, to be honest, I don't. However, I have been known to believe what I can see with my own eyes.
And what about the people, those who are faithful? Where do they go?
I just saw the gods themselves to divine.
And what of the bad people? Where do they go?
That too is a machination of the gods, which I do not question.
So if we can at least agree that those who are faithful and good go somewhere of the gods' choosing, someplace good, and those branded evil are sent somewhere by the gods, somewhere foul, somewhere bad. What of the places in between? What of the other realms?
Aldurin's just gonna ponder that for a bit.
You mean what happens to those who don't really stand out much on the cosmic scale?
I'm just saying, what about everybody else that isn't from Valoris?
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible for our gods' reach to extend towards the other realms themselves.
Perhaps, and maybe that is why I've been reborn in this place.
Aldurin's gonna kind of cock an eyebrow towards that.
I know I am not from here. I'm from the mages. They speak of extraplanar travel. Many times they speak of that in the form of the elements. He will kind of look over at you, Caspian, knowing that you have this affinity towards flame. Some...
Gasp.
Yes, born of fire. And like the queen of ravens, some born of shadow. I have been reborn here with a gift. I can shift ever so slightly. It is how I've been able to acquire many things to sell in my shop.
By shift, do you mean the ability to travel through different planes?
Not completely. I can't take a long vacation, but I can slip through very quickly, very quietly, acquire things, and pop back over. This helps me attune to things that don't belong in our world, such as the Perfide. She hails from a place very deep within the earth, a place nearly forgotten. There aren't many like her on the surface.
Probably most of us are better off for it.
Perhaps. I hear their city laws are quite intense. But
If I may, it's probably nothing, but this ability you speak of, it does put in mind that one of the things we had recently learned about Valoris is that the way that these dragons were sealed was also in a sort of pocket dimension between time itself.
that magic is very powerful. What was the story? 12 dragons? 13 dragons? As many as the Emperor had child, I think. Dun dun dun.
So there's quite a few more dragons that can make their way through whenever they get around to it.
Well, if my hunch is right, I would expect at least 3 more in Tantibus. For there are 3 children. According to legend lore.
So it's only a matter of time before the others come?
I do not know this spell. It is old, it is powerful. Not something I am well versed in. Perhaps, maybe the great mages in the Spire of Endless Thought. But that is far away. They may know. I don't know.
That will take some time to get to.
What's that?
He says, Petrovich kind of scratches his head. That will take much time to get to.
Yes, it... Unless you go by boat, I imagine trekking through the mountains would be a many-month excursion. Perhaps years.
You know, I'm not one to believe in coincidence. You mention there are potentially 3 dragons in total to come through here, that there are 3 children for Tantibus of the Golden Emperor, and there are 3 leaders of the Tenyo.
That is correct. At this point, I want everybody... This is going to be a group. I'll give you a choice. Wisdom or intelligence. Whichever is better. And, yeah, let's roll them beautiful scores. That is not a good score, Caspian.
I am
Good for
wiser
me
than
either.
you.
In
Wow.
this instance. Okay, so...
She's locked down at 20.
Okay. So there's a piece of the puzzle that's been hanging out there for quite some time. And let's go through the mental process here and see what you guys remember. I'm going to say one word, and then let's have a small discussion on this. Lachey. Who remembers any of the conversations that have come up? It's probably been 3 or 4, if I remember correctly.
I think there was something about the Lachey with the Nagpa tribunal.
Were they not the I guess the forest elves in the legend.
Well, that was my understanding.
Okay. I believe the Shadar Kai were also mentioned.
Yeah, those are the servants of the Raven Queen.
Mm-hmm.
By extension, they would probably also be former Lachey.
So were the Lachey the ones that were cursed by the Raven Queen and became the Nagpa?
That's almost what you guys have been led to believe. However, your old friend Kiev here, he's going to tell you that's not true. This is what he knows. I'm trying to think of any other instances the Lachey have come up, and I know. Did the Izanami mention the Lachey? She kind of said it as almost like a prophecy. You will know something when you meet the Lachey. Yes, no, maybe so.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell for me either.
So, Kiev is going to tell you this is what he knows of that story and the Nagpa. The story that he was told, and I'm not going to use his inflections. The story he was told was long ago. Okay, there were a group of humans that didn't fit in with the Golden Emperor for some reason. Like, the Golden Emperor was like a magnet, and people were just drawn to him to the extent that the Dwarven race was basically born out of this. They rose up. The three Dwarven gods rose up out of the ground to meet the Golden Emperor when he kind of streaked through the sky and hit the earth. People came to meet him. However, there was a small subsection of people that did not like it, didn't want anything to do with it for reasons unknown. They moved out into the Feywild and started to kind of become wild themselves, the first sort of elves. Y'all know the story of Ensetsu, where she was cast out. She, of course, was cast out to Valoris, wandered around, eventually met these newborn elves. Now, within that group, she started to develop into her godlike powers. There was a group of elves that kind of wanted to be on her good graces, and then there was a group of elves that were very envious of her. In short, those who sided with her became the Shadar Kai. Those who sided against her were cursed by her and became the Nagpa. You guys were led to believe that other half was the Lachey. Apparently, that is not true. Kiev is telling you that the Lachey are direct descendants of the Golden Emperor.
Oh God, the Emperor's children.
He doesn't know if it's true, but that's what he believes.
So sorry, they're the Emperor's kids supposedly, but are they elves or not?
So, let me drop some tokens. And here.
Oh.
hard to see any ears on that one. This one's a little peculiar. But it's weird. They all have like this stark white hair. Two of them are very pale. One of them obviously has elf ears. The other one is very dark skinned. Mysteries abound.
So, was that a yes, they're elves, or?
Are you asking me as a DM, or are you asking Kiev?
I'm asking you as a DM, like, am I being stupid? Because you said we're talking about elves, and then, oh no, they're not the elves that were cursed. They're the direct descendants. I'm not sure then if that uncouples them from the elves or not, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. So these three individuals would appear to be elf-like.
Because I also remember talking about these three and saying that they were vampires.
That is correct. Because vampires typically what, according to the legends, are...
like pale-skinned.
That's typically true. Lifespan.
Oh, they live a long time. More
Immortal, correct. So, in a sense, maybe that's how people justified it.
But elves are also immortal.
That is also true.
Which then begs the question, if the elves left the Golden Emperor because they didn't like what he was about, then why were his children elves?
Obviously, the Emperor is Bowser, and he captured the princess.
So... Is the connection here that it's just the three lords that are the children of the Empire, or are we being led to assume that they're vampires and all vampires are the children of the Emperor?
Well, it's Tantibus. You don't know, for one. At least, you don't know about the vampirism. That's the rumor that's been going around. And you have met vampires, so that might be true. So they could be cursed vampire elves.
So the question is, which side of the family did the thirst for blood come from?
Of course, they might not be vampires at all.
Yeah.
Of course, the obvious answer is, this is Tantibus, everyone has a thirst for blood.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, well. So if these are his direct descendants and they are elves, then that does imply that he got freaky with some kind of elf at some point.
One would assume yes.
Who is the lucky Galadriel?
That's first age. That's way longer than Kiev's ever been alive. Remember, he's been reincarnated. He's not even from Tantibus, from Valoris.
So were all the elves who were not Shadar Kai turned into Nagba, or is there a third part of the elf race?
So, according to the one story, take the elves, those who were loyal to the Queen of Ravens, you would now consider them to be the Shadar Kai. There was a small subsection who were jealous. Those individuals were cursed. There's of course more than elves, and with any sort of not procreation story, like I'm trying to think of the myth, creation myth. Thank you. It's not scientific. there's lots of moving pieces. So you imagine there's probably a bunch of different kinds of elves. But this story was ethnocentric, maybe, is the best way to put it.
Okay, so it's possible that there was just an elf that was his queen, and not necessarily that it was either a Nagpa or a Shadar-kai.
Unless he got freaky deaky with you like the vulture people.
See, my concern was like, oh god, did he make babies with the Raven Queen?
Getting down and dirty with the Skeksis.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past either one of them from what I know of both of them.
Yeah, I haven't watched that series. I heard it's good. All right, so he's saying the correlation that he was making was we were talking about dragons, and he asked, what was it, 12 or 13 dragons that were a part of the ritual, and he's, how many children were there?
Wait, just to be clear, that the Tenyo that was assassinated was not one of these brothers, right?
That is correct, and I will throw, that was Primor Artem Door. Boop. Human.
Yeah, the ones that are like the faces of the government are just like their lieutenants, right?
That is correct.
I was just making sure. I was like, oh god, did killing him unleash the dragon?
No, you guys are pretty certain that the breaking of the archway broke one of the Horcruxes, I guess is the best way to say.
Right, but so if there is a dragon for every kid, I wonder what the relationship between dragon and one of them is.
'Tis interesting. Kiev will tell you that's one of the things that we're going to try to find out.
Well, we know a Shardalon does not have a heart where it should be. Perhaps these Lachey are in fact somehow connected to the hearts of these beasts.
Kiev will look at you. What do you mean? Like...
Well, when we went inside of a Shardalon, he had bound some sort of a demon, a Balor, that somehow was able to serve where the heart should be. So it stands to reason another creature could do the same.
Like...
Tonight.
He's basically asking, like, another creature could use a dragon heart?
No, quite the other way around. Perhaps the ones that we call the Tenyo are in fact the hearts of dragons given human form, or humanoid.
I had not considered that. I feel our task just got heavier.
Well, if something the Emperor was scared of needed to be sealed away, and he needed a number of reagents equal to the number of his kids, maybe it's his wife he sealed away. Maybe she was a really scary ex, and he needed to get her out of there.
Oh my god. All right, Valoris has really just got Pilgrim.
I'd be okay with this.
Let's fight the Emperor's evil exes.
Oh my
Save
god.
Valoris.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Well, I wouldn't discount the possibility, but the vision we saw of the future distinctly showed the Golden Emperor being killed by himself.
Too many things. Too many mysteries. He's kind of rubbing his temple.
I suppose, to return to a more immediate task, well, you heard what she said. Do you have any idea how we could go about finding a supply for Zakul?
The best laid plans of rogues and circus folk. Yes, I do. It's not going to be easy on me. How soon do you need it? As he kind of starts to move in the couch, like he's going to stand up, like he's going to get ready to do whatever he needs to do right this second.
Well, if you're not feeling up to it, we do still need to retrieve the ring from, oh god, I'm gonna forget his name now all of a sudden. Stitsko. I was gonna say Shalsaxio, and I was like, no, it's an S name, but it's not that one. Yeah, let's go tackle Shalsaxio while we wait.
Yeah, most of them are Russian except for Shalsaxio, which is clearly Beholder.
Mechanical Beholder.
Mm-hmm.
All we need is the knowledge of how to get it, Kiev. You've already done more than enough putting yourself in harm's way recently.
And might I say, you do look quite well for a man who's dead.
Hey, thank you. I think some of Zendra rubbed off on me.
I take it that your particular gift with information gathering and spreading is why your own people think you're dead?
Well, if they didn't think I was dead, I'd have to go back to work. And I don't have it in me anymore.
Well, if it's my opinion you're asking, I think Zendra could use the company. She, didn't have the confidence I would expect a God's champion to have when we met last.
She is a reckless child and young and impetuous. She'll be alright. I'll watch after her.
Good, because I won't be around next time to kick her ass and make her pick up the damn sword.
We will do what we can. I just hope she knows what to do against that fire breath. I have a couple cards up my sleeve.
Vic is going to gingerly pat him on the shoulder and say, "Reckless and impetuous," says the man who's about to embark on a journey while still barely able to move on his own 2 feet.
We won't go until I'm healed. Hopefully, not much longer. It's only been a few days, but I think I've come a long way.
From death, I should say so.
You feel as though he's also implying that morally as well. If you give me a couple days more, I can make preparations. We can get you the components you need for his serum.
Then a couple of days is what you shall have, my friend.
Very good.
The curious part of me just has to know, Kiev, what type of concoction are they shoving in the professor?
The best kind. Something that's out of this world.
Miss Aranea, I'm not sure if it was just a slip of the tongue, but she said something curious. She said that the potions that he drinks are what allow him to transform, not what prevent him from transforming.
That is correct. He was one of Shalsaxio's chosen. He was convinced to join the Lustrum Oculari. He didn't seek us out. They sought him.
So does that
Would I
mean he's in control of that beast, or?
It's a fine line that one has to concoct when making these tonics. Without them, I'm afraid he will die. Small, steady doses, and he can control the transformation. Too much at once, and he will rage. Too little, he will slowly die again.
Perhaps I'm reading too much into it, but would you be able to answer this? Well, perhaps to put it more bluntly, which form is the real form?
The gnome. He is very well learned amongst the city. Probably the greatest historian in Tantibus. 'Tis a shame for him to be blunted down, to be used as such a weapon.
Well, perhaps we can help remedy things then. It'd be good to have another ally too.
May the gods forgive what I have done.
I fear that this journey that you are about to embark will shine you favorably in the eyes of the gods.
If not, next time I'm reincarnated, I'll probably be a hobgoblin or something. He looks over at you, Phaley. No offense.
I don't know what that means.
Phaley's like, none comprehended.
Yeah, Caspian will just pat her on the head and say, like, hobgoblins are like goblins, but less cool.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
Well, it sounds like, Kiev, you need to go back to the green room and do some resting, and we'll give you a couple of days while we try and clean up some of our messes we made earlier on.
Indeed. I will do what I can. I will try to send you all, but it will take a great deal of my power. See me in 2 days.
Very well. As for us, I think we should also take some time to rest. We should probably see more to Petrovich's wound, so he doesn't continue to bleed out on us.
I am fine. He says, as a spurt of blood races through into his wounds.
Where's Petrovich? He's on the red couch. Red couch? I thought it was white. It is now.
As he's holding his liver.
Right.
Oh, it's Tantibus. Most people do carry their livers. All right, so Kiev will take his leave back to bed.
Valderin will take Petrovich to a location where he can tend to his wounds, and then Valderin will find a place to pass out.
Okay, so you guys are gonna take a long rest.
Preferably next to the bar now.
Yeah, you guys need a long rest. That's what I'm seeing. Did you have any other questions for him? Stuff that, if you think of something, let me know and we can always address it. But you guys take what seems to be probably the best rest that you've had in quite some time. Unfamiliar ceilings, but it's becoming more and more familiar. It's almost like it's becoming a second home for you guys.
A second home that they don't know that we live.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ruchado's a part owner of this, and he doesn't seem to mind.
So as long as
Also, I
you
think
get
if
part
we
of the
stay
house.
here for 30 days uncontested, we have squatters' rights.
Nice.
I hope they take a long time underground.
The tax write-off, and this is going to be huge.
At the rate that they're moving, yes, it's going to be forever.
Oof.
Also, I have a feeling like Ruchado would let a lich live in this place.
I feel like if you paid him enough, Rachado would let anybody live here.
That's probably accurate. You got to remember, he once got separated from his companions in the wild, got drunk, went to take a piss, fell in the river, floated downstream, eventually caught back up.
Hi, I'm Ruchado.
I'm Ruchado. Oh my goodness. So you guys wake up. I don't think there's any sort of wait staff that's ever been hired here. So you've got free reign of the kitchen. There are some sundries and supplies. It offers a limited lifestyle here.
I'm simply outraged by the lack of food by the people who are housing us for free.
Yeah, let's leave them a strongly worded letter.
There you go.
Your pantries are not good enough to be rated.
You
Please
guys
fix
do
this
have a
upon our
diplomat
next-
pouch. You're not quite sure if it'll reach them.
A comment card, maybe?
That would be the most confusing thing ever.
Leave them a Yelp review.
Now here's the thing, which would be more confusing, for them to suddenly find a comment card in the pouch, or for the Nagpa to suddenly find a comment card in their pouch?
Either way.
I'm very disappointed with my service during my stay.
That's pretty funny. All right. Anyways, morning comes. You guys are well rested. Your wounds are healing or will be healed soon. What is the plan? What would you like to do?
Oh, before I went to bed, I did want to touch base with Kiev before he fell asleep.
Okay.
And see if he can reach out to whatever contacts he has that won't obviously immediately feed back into the order. And just make sure that if anybody is looking for my alter ego, i.e. my father is looking for my alter ego, that word gets back to me.
Yes, he's been out of it for a few days, but he will try the best with his contacts. He's sure that he can find something.
All right, and that was all I really had for that.
First thing in the morning, Caspian would like to touch base with Phaley, and he will give her the key he won hard fought from the other day.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
Hey Phaley, I got you a souvenir.
Oh boy, thank you.
That is amazing. What do you do with this precious gift?
I probably put it with the little pebble necklace I have, so it's around my neck.
Nice.
But as it's made of metal, I'd imagine it's good for chewing for goblins.
Oh my goodness, it's a teether.
Good mouthfeel.
Good mouthfeel.
Vic just sees the same stupid key dangling from the necklace and just lets out a long sigh. Looks at Caspian like, really?
Well, you didn't want it.
Well, I suppose perhaps if we one day find ourselves back in that basement again for some ungodly reason, we can find out what the heck it did.
I'm surprised the key's real at this point.
Right. Surprised Athrun didn't really rub salt in my.
Aw.
Can I make an intelligence check to see if Phaley is real?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, if you fail, does she pop out of existence?
How can we see if
I'll
our
just
eyes
sit out
closed?
the rest of the campaign.
Oh no.
Well, if she fails the intelligence check, then she pops out of existence, because of course, I think, therefore I am.
yeah. Nice. All right, so you guys have the full morning ahead of you. What would you like to do?
Well, loath though I am to go back, I suppose we don't really have much of a choice but to venture into Stitsko's old stomping grounds.
Okay.
We will have to hope that no one has made too much of a mess of the empty place while we've been gone.
Right, I hear you've already made a mess.
Well, how do I say? I hope no new rats have moved in.
It's hard
By
to
the
say.
way, on the topic of Stitsko, I don't think I'm the first or the only one to think of this, but just in case there are any of us that haven't yet, it stands to reason that the source of those drugs was Zakor.
It's a possibility, but we don't know for sure the entire extent that Shalsaxio's got people doing his bidding.
That is true. Still, it does make me a little bit less friendly towards him, even if it was done under duress.
It's fair enough, but I mean, knowing what I know now, I can't blame him for trying to do anything to escape what the prison he's in right now.
It's one death worth the lives of so many others who were affected by that drug, though.
He didn't personally try to kill anybody, as far as I know. Perhaps we'll find out something different, but for now, I just think he's more of a victim than the perpetrator here.
That is fair, and as you said, we don't know for sure that he was the one responsible for the drug's creation.
And hopefully we'll get those answers if he stays long enough, alive long enough for us to get him.
Well, unfortunately, it seems as though we've all just been Thanos'd out of existence.
Oh no. I hate when that happens.
I don't feel too well, Mr. Castian.
All right, so you're going to back to the place where you fought Stitsko? Yes? That was my understanding? Or did
Yes.
I? Okay.
Before we head out towards there, Caspian would want to maybe kind of confront Vic a little bit.
Okay.
Before we head out on another mission, is there anything you should update us on in terms of your capabilities, Vic, dear?
Oh, yes. That. Well, out of character, it's unfortunate that Athrun just took the tokens off, but if he wants to drop my actual changeling token on so the rest of you can see it.
Me? Hold on. Tokens.
I don't know if I can do it. If I can, I will.
Which token?
Oh, I can. There we go.
Ah, yes.
So I will drop my Vic form that you've all known me as, and that's what you'll see.
then. This is definitely new.
This is what I am.
And you are what exactly?
Colloquially, we're known as changelings.
Is that like when babies are stolen by elves and an elf baby is put in its place?
Those are the fairy tales. I can't say I really know too much about what I am beyond my capabilities.
Well, so we always knew you were like a really good illusionist, Vic. What's different about this?
Well, if for the sake of argument, looking back at where we just were, that big stone door was an illusion. You could pass right through it, but I'll go ahead and, for the sake of argument, just like transform into RNA and say, go ahead and give my ear a tug, see if it's an illusion.
I said my ear.
Give Vic a tug, okay?
Baldurn will quickly shield the little Gabbo's eye.
I didn't know I didn't know we were having this kind of RP.
Only in Final Fantasy XIV.
Welcome to Goldshire Inn.
Are you sitting on my bench? Anyways.
Caspian will do the ear tug.
And it's very real.
Describe your process as when you change from the female version of Vic to the male version of Vic. Is it like a seamless kind of like transformation, or is it kind of jagged and mechanical?
It's fairly seamless. It's just like the individual things happen, like the skin shade changes white, the hair grows shorter.
Like more
and
from
also
the X-Men?
white. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Does it look like fucking the one guy from Deep Space Nine when he transforms into things?
I've never watched.
Oof.
You've never seen Deep Space Nine?
Nope.
It's
Anyway.
the best one.
Opposed to the first 8 Deep Spaces.
The first one, it burnt down. The second one, it fell into the swamp. The third one, it burnt down, fell over, then sank into the swamp. But the fourth one, she still stands today.
In the swamp.
Here, I'm gonna post a video of the guy shape changing.
So, in other words, you can change however you want to look to be however you want to look?
Within a certain amount of reason, yes. I still have to be basically the same shape.
So the you we knew previously is not the real you? Like, this is how you actually look? Or is there a how you actually look? Do you have a normal?
Well,
is he just kind of hand
to give you a complicated answer, this is how I actually look, but the Vic you've known me as has always been the real me.
And what is the Vic that we know? Is that a creation of your own, or?
That's who I've been as a child growing up, and have been ever since. The other forms I take are merely transitory.
Well, that's definitely a handy little trick to have. I'm not sure exactly why you kept it a secret for so long?
Well, it's certainly not as though I didn't trust you at this point, but being a changeling is what got my mother killed. It's not something I like talking about openly.
Oh, okay, yeah, that, if you had led with that, Vic, dear, I might have clicked better.
Yes, most people don't take kindly to those who can take on whatever appearance they want. Usually the assumption is that we're all thieves and brigands who are looking to trick and deceive.
Nah, that's me.
Oh. And being able to start fires with your fingertips tends to not make you too many friends either.
Yes, I did tell you back there that there were things we had in common.
Well, I say you feel free to put whatever skin makes you comfier on, and we'll go investigate Stitsko's house.
I will do, and I'll transform back into my regular Vic.
Okay.
And Caspian will tug on their ear.
Still very real.
And you change back to female Vic, correct?
Yes,
Just- okay.
female human Vic.
Double checking. All right. So, as you guys go back to Stitsko's hideout, it's mostly exactly how you left it. It doesn't look like it's been disturbed too much. Any sort of like boxes, crates, and that sort of thing would have been removed, but they left the bodies. And I'm going to go ahead and share this. This is the last level where you once met Stitsko. Kind of an oddly silent room. You guys should have free reign to walk around, I believe.
Such a big map.
Is it?
For me, yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty blown up, yeah.
Yeah, I zoomed in.
Okay, yeah, I remember this. I seem to remember making a funeral pyre in this central area here.
That is correct. That you did.
Looking around, does it seem about how we left it? Has there been...
So again, it's kind of eerily quiet. There's not even the chattering of a mouse really around you. As you can tell that several of the crates and boxes, stuff that was here like a normal factory, has been completely vacated. But any sort of bodies that you guys had felled still remain, as they're rotting, decomposing even after all of these weeks. If you remember, the gas chamber, it is also unmolested, had not been reset. As you make your way to the top, enter the room, as you're moving around kind of where again, Caspian had set that funeral pyre, you hear the sound of... It kind of sounds like boots on stone. You definitely hear someone here.
Is it multiple or just one set of...
Just echoing through the halls. You hear that kind of, let me put on an echo. Like, I can't make the sound. But boot on stone.
Does it sound like it's a singular person, or does it sound like it's a group?
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a mosh pit that's going on here. It sounds like a singular person moving about the room.
This is in the same chamber as us, or it's coming from behind us?
It's so you see where you guys are? Do you not see
Yes.
see that question mark across the room?
Yes.
That's where
I
the
see.
sound is emanating from. What would you like to do?
Caspian will use the Navy SEAL hand gesture things, kind of pointing at Kaladin and like, go check it out type of a...
2 words. First word.
Okay. So you pop around, trying to prep a proper token here. You see, I'm going to share it in Discord here real quick, since I don't have the token quite made yet.
Also, it seems like our tokens are locked. I don't know if you said they were supposed to be free.
Sorry, unlocked. I didn't realize that.
Okie dokie.
And Vic will have her crossbow ready, just in case.
Okay. This person, you can see drapings of... What's a good way to describe it? Almost like a gunmetal or steel kind of gray colored hair hanging out in the back around this dark cloak that seems to be wrapped around them. The cloak itself looks like it's seen better days, but there's something about like the metal accoutrements that are adorning it that seem to really shine and sparkle. This person has their back to you. You can see a gloved hand extended, almost rubbing the wall in a loving manner.
Hey, who am I to judge?
I'm sorry?
Said, who am I to judge?
Oh, I got ya.
Does it look like she has any like identifying marks on her, like Order of the Eye symbol on her armor or anything?
Not that you can tell. Again, kind of the metal accoutrements that are adorning her kind of cloak stand out. Her boots come down almost into the shape of a bot. But the heel itself is kind of disjoined from the flat part of the foot. So kind of a gothic sort of mini heel, but still practical to wear out in the field or maybe the deck of a boat.
If I remember, this place was relatively near the docks, right?
That is true.
Vic is content to just watch and see what this person is doing if they haven't noticed us yet.
Okay.
Lean around the corner and friend our foe.
Okay. I'm going to replace the token here in a second. As long as it added. Perfect. There we go. They seem to be... Again, kind of hands on the wall. Her eyes are closed, but as she turns around, very pronouncedly, her hair is not one of like the sway of natural colors of blonde or brown or dark black. It is not even white in terms of like an old crone, or even gray when it starts to salt and pepper. It almost looks the color of Voldarin's armor. It's like a gunmetal steel color. She takes her hand as she's turning around and almost like waves it in the air. Not exactly doing an incantation, but almost trying to feel something out. You can... She takes a deep breath. It's obviously a feminine form. And takes a step forward. It's becoming difficult for you guys to see. But you can continue to hear footfalls.
I'm going to go ahead and use the helm of telepathy's detect thoughts. Try and focus it on what she's thinking.
Okay. Interesting. 4 seconds here. Main page. You should see some dice flying. Okay. Vic, what are you thinking right now?
Right now, who is this person and why are they so interested in that wall?
That is what you hear in your head. As you hear a sound coming from the other side. A few moments go by.
Well, if no one else has like another thing to do, Caspian will probably just try and sidle around and see if he can keep up with her.
I know you're there. Come out. I will do you no harm.
Very well. Valderin will walk out from the corner.
And Caspian's just peeking his eyes around the corner, leaning against it.
So nice of you to finally join me. Sorry about that, Vic. I wasn't expecting that. Do you hear the calls of these poor souls? Was it in here? She reaches forward and touches the metal door. It's still hot.
Did you lose one?
It seems many are lost in this place. I'm still trying to get my bearings. I see you eyeing your weapons. You have no need for them. Yes, I am armed, but if it makes you feel any better, I will lay down my arms. You have no need to fear me. She reaches for her belt. You can see a short sword and a few daggers off. She undoes a clasp. You can tell that the metal adorning this clasp is far too rich for the type of cloak that she has on for her just underclothes. As she takes it off, it just gleams as she sets it to the floor.
Well, I'm afraid you have me at a bit disadvantage. You know who I am, but we have no idea who you are.
If I deem you safe, then you shall have my name. But first, I suggest we release these poor souls. Caspian, were you the one that performed the rites? I don't believe Valderin was here at the time.
Yeah, his head will poke out more from around the corner. He'll say, "Yeah, I did my best by them. My mom's not one for a lot of ceremony or delicacy, but I did what I could."
I can tell. It shows. Please, release them. Let them go where they need to go. And she will take a couple steps back, show you that she, of course, means no harm. Her accoutrements are kind of here next to the floor. She doesn't even pick them up.
He'll kind of sidle around and, look left to Vic and right to Voldurin, and then put his hand on. He'll just touch the door first. Is it hot?
It's not hot, but it feels like it once was, and it's cooling down. To you could touch this door and not suffer any ill effects. To someone else without a certain affinity, might kind of pull back their hand a little bit. It wouldn't just burn them outright, but it would definitely be like, oh, hot. Very peculiar.
I say that's weird, given how long ago it was. So
Yeah,
I guess
weeks.
he'll just, I guess he'll just kind of, head to the side a bit, push open the door.
Okay. As you push open the door, any light that's in this room starts to just kind of whoosh down like it was on a dimmer, very, very low. Those with dark vision, it would actually start to kick in as you see kind of these translucent shapes just kind of fly into the center of the room, kind of swirl around this woman. She places her hand like in the mist. Imagine it like like she is the eye of a tornado that's spinning around. The wind isn't enough to blow anyone anywhere. It's barely enough to kind of push your guys' hair out of place, or even billow a cloak. But she puts her hand in, and you can kind of see, the shapes kind of coalesce and take shape as she runs it up and down. And with her left hand, she extends it towards the ceiling. The spirits swirl around her and up through a crack in the ceiling. Very good. I don't know why I'm here, but one of you is the faithful.
The faithful to whom?
I will figure it out in time. But I don't believe it is to your water spirits, young dwarf.
He's gonna get kind of like puff a bit, just like water spirit. Water.
I did not mean to offend. Your god has great power and ability. Long has he lived. I did not mean any offense. I'm still acclimating.
More importantly, young dwarf.
Caspian's kind of not paying attention to what's going on outside. He's just like poking his head inside the room. What does he see in there?
You see a skeleton figure. It's mostly just Radius, Ulna, that metacarpals, I think are your hands, kind of comes up. One of the appendages is sticking out much farther than the others as Stitz goes, last salute to you, and a shiny bit of metal.
But it's just his body?
So just his skeletal remains. You know that you incinerated this place, but for some reason, his did not burn like the others. And he definitely left you a message. It is straight up the middle finger.
Okay. Well, while the others are talking, then he'll just kind of reach out and not even remove the ring. He'll try and like break that finger off.
Oh, no problem. You now have the finger of Vecna. I'm kidding.
Yes.
The middle finger of Vecna.
Awesome. Which arguably is the best finger of Vecna.
We can use it as a holy symbol to ward off evil spirit.
Yeah, Yeah, totally.
Be gone, spirit.
Fuck off, spirit. Anyways.
Yeah, that would be the magic items command word.
Yeah.
He'll just kind of pocket the finger and close the door, and probably instinctually as he's closing it, like heat it up just a tiny bit more.
The woman stands there kind of aloof, just kind of watching, almost looking at things that, as you look around the room, as the light's kind of restoring to this point, don't seem to be there. You get the air of this one may have been touched a little bit by the madness. Not quite sure.
Alderin will turn to the mysterious girl and say,
As one who is fairly soon will be departing for his final journey in the sea, it has been many a millennium since one has called me young.
In the great plan of the cosmos, young dwarf, you most certainly are.
And what great plan would this be?
Oh, I'm sorry. I get confused. Can anyone tell me? And I don't want you to think I'm mad. What is this place? What is it called?
This building? This city? What? There's a variety of answers to that question.
Yes. I remember seeing this great city. I wish to see its sights. I saw some of it on my walk here.
Where do you hail from, lass?
It's difficult to explain. Perhaps best if I don't. I know that comes off as seeming rude, but I think it for the best, at least for the time being. But the city, has it a name?
Why, this would be great,
he says that sarcastically.
city of Tantibus.
Tantibus. Interesting. I would like to see this Tantibus.
Valdarin's going to try and approach this lass and try and get a good look into her eyes and see if her pupils may be dilated.
Okay.
High on smiles.
Something's not right with her
Make me a perception.
perception. Give me a sec while I find that.
Okay. So nothing immediately sticks out to you. You look into her eyes, and they look just like normal, everyday eyes. They're not kind of darting back and forth. Her pupils don't seem to be extraordinarily dilated. In fact, they look less dilated than your companions. In fact, they're having an easy time seeing here. I'm going to share a larger picture just for reference. In this picture, their cloak is billowed up.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at this woman, and You don't see anything out of the ordinary with her face. Something about that hair. It's just... Clearly she dyes it.
Valder is going to pull out one of his candles and he's going to light, and he's going to ask her to take a look at the flames, and he's going to see how well she responds to light.
She'll move down. She'll acquiesce. I assure you, young master, there is nothing wrong with my eyesight. She'll follow the candles. Her eyes don't seem to adjust at all. Medicine check.
All right.
Okay. Interesting. For a split second, as you're looking into her eyes, her pupils aren't really dilating. But it's probably your imagination. You swear you saw them not round, but oval-shaped. Vertically. For just a split second. It had to have been a trick of the light. As you stare even more intensely, and never again do you see that odd sort of coincidence. Do I pass your tests, young master?
Well, it doesn't seem like you've suffered a head wound. And your pupils aren't dilated.
No,
You seem normal.
I don't remember hitting my head. You, the soldier. Soldier of the church? What is that implement you have on your back?
Let's see what implement is she talking about?
Your rifle.
Oh, I don't actually. Sorry,
Oh, it's just in your picture?
It's just in the picture. I don't actually carry a
I
rifle.
thought you actually carried a rifle. Okay, never mind.
I would have used that by now, trust me.
I'd have totally used it.
No, he
This
just
is
has
my
a,
boomstick.
He has a hand crossbow, like a really small hand crossbow. That's his only fire weapon.
She doesn't have any interest in that. Your uniform. Does your clergy make you wear it?
Make is a strong word. I wear this out of pride. It is more of a ceremonial uniform.
Are there many like you in Tantibus?
He chuckles and points to his slightly like they're almost cat-like eyes. He's obviously something of a mutant. I would say not too many like me.
And you, small one. Longest have your kind been around? I see you've made your way to the surface. Have you learned the language of the commoners?
Okay, I guess.
Oh, excellent. I did not think a time would pass. This is delightful news. She kind of makes her way around. And you two, you're so quiet. I hope I haven't caused any sort of offense. Were you able to do what you came to accomplish?
Well, I believe so.
This is good. If you will excuse me, I wish to look upon the city and take in its sights.
Do you need assistance? You seem still very confused.
I will soon she says reacquaint herself to this city, to this place. is what you think that she's referring to. I'm sure the locals won't give me too much trouble. If you don't mind, I would feel a bit safer if I could leave armed.
Oh, feel free. We didn't mean to interrupt, I guess.
Alright.
Yes, if I might ask, what was it that drew you to this place?
A favor for a friend. I'm looking for a particular gemstone.
At this, Vic's eyes narrow very much. She says, "Hold on a moment. You wouldn't happen to be referring to a ruby, would you?"
Yes, one that is very precious to me.
I believe we're looking for the same one. Perhaps.
I see. I did not think there would be any that would remember, that would remain faithful.
Well, if I am the faithful one, I don't know how strong my faith may really be. It's been passed down and diluted through many generations, but I know what I know, at least.
You human folk, how do you count this gap? I don't know the words to say. A long passage of many cycles.
Eons? Is that the word?
Perhaps. What would you call the time between one eon and another?
Years?
Years. Yes, I've been gone many years. Almost too many to count. Almost too many to remember. Though I imagine there are some that remember every second of every year. Some that hold a grudge.
Waldron's going to place his hand on the hilt of his hammer.
She doesn't look at you, but she says, "Now, young Master Dwarf, we've already been over this. I mean you no harm."
Aye, but what about the city?
What about Tantibus?
Do you mean it and its inhabitants, huh?
I only wish to learn. I don't want others to know of my arrival. It is better this way.
Vic is going to, in Draconic, ask, "Do you understand what I'm saying?"
She replies, "Yes, of course, my child." Rolls right off her tongue. You can tell, like, that even though you're well scholarly, her inflection is probably either really terrible and faked it, or, like, dead on of what the actual tongue is.
And at that, I'm going to ask, "Are you the one that just emerged?" Again in Dracon.
It's difficult. I understand the language, but the words and the nuance. I have arrived from another place. From exile.
I believe we can trust her. I don't believe she means any harm, or believe me, she would have done so already.
I am glad that we could become friends. I am curious. I imagine someone came before me.
Yes, the one known as a Charlatan.
He would be first, would he not? His temper is not a trifle thing. He was here in Tantibus?
For a moment.
He nearly destroyed the entire place.
I know it doesn't mean much, but I do offer my condolences. Please do not judge us all by the color of our skin. And she kind of reaches up and grabs and plays with a small tuft of her hair. When we first started the beginning of our eon, you asked my name. I don't know if you'll be able to pronounce it, but I'm just gonna spell it out for you here. And I'll see if you guys can actually pronounce it. And I'll post it in here too. There you go. Anybody want to take a crack?
Rasley Minger.
That is very good. You have been gifted, touched by fire.
I have, and I'm not sure how much of a gift it is sometimes.
Like everything in life, it is both a blessing and a curse. It's really about what we choose to do. I have lived a long time. Unlike some of my brethren, I don't wish to embark on a damn foolish crusade of revenge. I wish to learn and perhaps become friends with Tantibus.
This gem, this ruby, I don't know much about it other than its worth. Could you enlighten me a bit?
Could you show me?
The gem? I'm afraid I don't have it.
I'm sorry. Sometimes it's difficult. Hopefully, he will soon come for me. It seems a small... What is the word? Fissure has developed between our realms. We're I was able to slip through. I imagine the others will find out what is going on and escape themselves. But the one you seek, I think he will come for you. I think he will repay you in kind. For I imagine even a single thought, a single prayer, it holds great power. It can transcend worlds. I think it found its way.
Well, I'm glad to have helped. Actually, Vic is going to start fishing through her bag, and he's going to take out the Mirror of the Past and hand it over and tell her, if you think of the gem, it may reveal more details.
I will try. You hand her the mirror. You can see her skin start to glow a whitish gray color as she clutches the mirror. She actually turns her back to you all and she raises the mirror high. Concentrate. Make me a will check. Be wisdom, Vic.
Okay. Terrible. It would be a 9, but that doesn't make a difference.
No problem. So, as you begin to concentrate, and she holds up the mirror high, for a brief moment, you see, it's really hard to describe, for there are a great many colors. You can see flowing hills like radiant green and red and orange grass, these very vibrant colors. You can see the wind kind of whipping by, the icy blue, clear skies and clouds. And you can see large figures, shadows, kind of dancing across it. They appear to be dragon-shaped. I'm sorry, as she breaks her concentration and lowers the mirror. The magic is just too strong. There's difficulty. I remember some of the past. I remember a man. His skin is white as a glacier. And some incantation and this great gravity swallowing me and the council, swallowing us whole. Our children, they didn't have a chance. They were torn into pieces. No. And she kind of throws the mirror. She intended to throw it to the ground, but it was too close to your location, Vic, as you kind of catch it at the last second. I'm sorry. I will not revisit that place again.
Sorry to have brought up such painful memories.
It's okay. But I remember that eon, like it was yesterday. I'm sorry. I must clear my head. I will travel around Tantibus and take in what I can. If you need me, I'm sure our paths will cross again. Fare thee well. I imagine your story is just beginning, young ones. And she starts heading towards the door. Any last, hey, wait?
Should we let her just wander around? I can only imagine what will happen if someone tries to mess with her.
Can we stop her is the question.
No, but we could be a buffer between idiots who picked the worst target possible and the destruction of another portion of the city due to...
Following that logic, does Valderin, if you can't convince your friends, would you take it the next step and maybe alert the authorities?
That would be
just food for thought. Just food for thought.
That would probably not work out well.
I think the authorities would probably be the ones most likely to try to pick a fight with her.
Yeah. I can only imagine if someone tries to use force on her, her response would be not great for the city at the moment.
But she does not seem hostile towards you. She's answered all of your questions. She's acquiesced to you. And she shared a bit of, I think a little bit of knowledge as well. Maybe not a ton.
She has, but would she be able to respond to the strength of a mortal with mortal strength, or would she respond full force?
That's hard to say.
Yeah. That is my worry here. Because if she gets mugged and responds with fire breath, and we have lost another portion of the city because of this.
I mean, that's a valid concern. I won't lie.
Well, if you do vocalize that, Vic will point out that we got what we came for. We may as well give her a tour of the city.
Yeah. I would share that concern with the other.
I don't know much about her or where she comes from or her intentions, but if your suspicions are close to right, Vic, I think we need to have her speak to Zendra.
I suppose it couldn't hurt.
I think Zendra really needs to talk to her.
Okay. So you're gonna try to parlay with her again to get her to come with you?
If we have that discussion briefly, I'll call out to her. If you don't mind, there's someone we would like for you to meet, and afterwards, we'd be more than willing to give you a tour of the city.
Are they as kind as you are?
I think they're on the path.
I think that is a fair trade. If you would be willing to answer what might seem to be, I don't know the word, when someone thinks that you're not who you are, it comes off being looked down upon and odd. If you could answer questions that are commonplace, that would help me blend, and perhaps I would be willing to meet with your friend and view the city with you.
Sorry to interrupt here. I'm gonna be heading to bed.
No problem. We're gonna wrap up anyway, so peace out.
Have a good night.
Night, guys.
Do you guys agree to her terms?
Believe that would be agreeable.
So just a cover for her, basically.
Kind of. I suppose I should pick a more common name. I know. Just call me Razzle.
The old razzle dazzle.